NCN82 between the campsite at Bunree and Fort William is absolutely no place to ride a bike and expect to live. So I've driven the van up to and around Fort William to Cowell, just a short ride along the shared use path to the Caledonian Canal at Corpach. Well, here we are, day 3, and it looks like I've managed to avoid the rain again. I'm not too sure if it'll stay that way today. Specs are steaming up. It's really muggy. It feels very humid today. It's quite well, there's no wind at all. But I've brought the van up to Corpach, just outside Fort William. Behind me is the Caledonian Canal, the Corpach Sea Lock, and if I come around, we see the Caledonian Canal behind me, and there, still covered in cloud, Ben Nevis. So I'm off to head up Neptunes Staircase and then along the canal to Gairlochy, and we'll see what I find there. Probably turn round about there and head back down. There's a couple of locks to pass in the short ride up from Corpach to Bunree. I'm already impressed at the size of them. Floodgates are massive. Between Fort William and Gairlochy, the National Cycle Network Route 78 and the Great Glen Way long-distance walking route share the path alongside the Caledonian Canal. It's a popular route, so I'm expecting to meet a few walkers as well as cyclists on my ride today. At Bunree, the railway and the road from Fort William to Mallaig both cross the canal. The bridges are cast iron swing bridges, which were constructed in preference to bascule or lifting bridges to avoid the risk of damaging the masts of ships as they passed through. At times like this, I wish I had a drone, as an aerial shot is really the only way to fully appreciate the structure of the canal just beyond here. I've pinched a photo off the web. The NCN route passes around Bunree rail station to cross the line and then the road before rejoining the canal path by the bridge control building. Ahead of me are the Bunree locks, also known as Neptunes Staircase. It's a flight of 8 locks and is the longest staircase lock in Britain. It raises boats on the canal by 20 metres. Now it's worth noting the sign on the lamppost ahead confirming the NCN route, and also that it's on the path following the east bank of the canal. But I've spotted a cafe partway up the locks on the west bank. Ouch, just cracked my shin and my pedals, as you do. I've crossed over to check it out as a possible place to stop later on when I'm on my way back. Each lock is huge. They're 55 metres long by 12 metres wide. They were built in the early 19th century to accommodate the passage of ships of the day, 32-gun frigates and sailing ships trading with the Baltic.
Now at the top of the lock flight, I failed to recognise the significance of the sign for the Great Glen Way. It was pointing across the top lock gates towards the east bank. Although the path continuing along the west bank seemed to deteriorate a wee bit, there was stuff happening here, so I just carried on along it.
Well, that wasn't very hard. That was Neptunes Staircase. Kind of expected to expend more energy coming up those locks, but actually it was okay.
I paused on one of the pontoons to watch this yacht approach the locks, with a fine view of the Nevis Range for a backdrop. Then I carried on, northwards, along the west bank. Even this gate and the dodgy track around it didn't alert me. This isn't the sort of surface you'd expect of a national cycling and walking trail. Sure enough, I'm at a dead end. The track I've been following just serves a few properties this side of the canal, and it ends up at somebody's back door.
This is where the intrepid cyclist realises that the path on the other side of the canal is the path he should be on. Let's have a look at the map. Come on, let's see where I am. Right. Yes, it looks like I need to go all the way back to Bunree and get across at the top of Neptunes Staircase. Right, hey, that makes for excitement. All of these other people on bicycles are on that side of the canal. Why I couldn't have thought of that sooner. Let's go.
Maybe I should have taken more note of that NCN sign, or the one for the Great Glen Way at the top lock, or of all the walkers and cyclists using the path on the other side of the canal. And of course, to cross over to the correct side, I've got to go all the way back to the top of Neptune's Staircase.
Now try not to crack my shin on the pedals again. Oh well, I'm back at Bunree at the top of Neptune's Staircase. This is about all there is to Neptune's Staircase. It's just a flight of locks basically. It's got a cycle track up the, let me think, whichever side it is, the east side of the canal. Up the west side of the canal there's a path which I've just been on, and I've had to turn back because it's a dead end, just leads to holiday homes. So yeah, we've about an extra mile or so on my journey, but so much the intrepid explorer. Specs are steaming up, been standing in this muggy heat too much. Right, let's get on up to Gairlochy, wherever it comes to next on the canal. Right through the grass.
Now this is a much better path. I'm soon settling in to enjoying the crunch of tyres and gravel, the peace of my surroundings, and the mirror-like reflections on the surface of the canal as I make my way north towards Gairlochy. I had to swap out the camera battery somewhere along here, and not long after I'd done so the camera packed in without my noticing. Maybe the new battery hadn't been fully charged. Unfortunately, I only noticed after the rain started and I'd stopped to put on my rain cape. I didn't want to change batteries again out in the open while it was raining, so there's a bit of the ride that went unrecorded. Well, I'm getting on towards Gairlochy, and I've just realised that for the past 20-25 minutes since I changed over the battery on the Osmo Action, that it's not been recording a thing, and it looks like the battery that I put in is dead. So I've got nothing to show for the last quite a wee bit. But I'm really liking the peace and quiet, although it is actually starting to rain now. I'm going to have to get out my poncho. You join me again on the road above Loch Lochy, a couple of kilometres beyond Gairlochy. I found shelter under a big oak tree, swapped out the camera battery and repositioned the camera so the lens wouldn't be covered by my cape for the return journey.
that's all there is to Gairlochy. A swing bridge and a couple of locks.
I've edited the ride back along the canal between Gairlochy and Bunree as a separate ASMR style video that I'll be posting separately, and that'll finish this wee series. But there's more to come in this video, so stick with it. By the time I got back to Bunree, the rain had stopped. The cafe I'd looked at earlier was a wee bit commercial looking for my taste, and I found this friendly wee craft shop selling great coffee and delicious ice cream. I bought a cappuccino one to go with the coffee while my cape dried out, and I could survey the mud from the wet canal side path that was now caking my bike and its gear changer mechanism.
Made it up to Gairlochy where it rained and came back down. I'll show you the mud on the bike in a wee second. I'll bring the camera up to have a look at the mud. It's like concrete, and the chain on the gears, everything. It's I'm struggling to get all 6 gears just now, but I'm back down here. I'm just outside Cannes Boutique where I got a lovely coffee and a nice cappuccino ice cream to go with it. It's gone now, I've had it, it was good. Just a little bit to go back down the hill to Corpach. I want to have a look at the mud. Look at that. That's the chain pusher, it's almost not working. Chain's covered in crap. Whole bike covered in crap. That's going to take some serious washing and cleaning to get it off. Yeah.
Well, suitably refreshed, and with a wee bit of first aid maintenance on the bike, I finished my ride back down to Corpach Sea Lock.
Well, that's it. I'm back to Corpach Sea Lock at the end of my ride. I've just got a wee bit to go back to the car. It's been a bit of fun today. You know, in the middle of last week, when I still had time to cancel my booking without any loss of campsite fees, I was looking at the weather forecast for every day this week. There was the black cloud with thunder, with lightning signs for every day, heavy rain forecast. It was looking utterly miserable, and I decided I would just brave it out, and it's been great. Today's the first day that I've actually been caught in any rain at all, so I'm really well chuffed about that. Unfortunately, I was up at Gairlochy when the rain came on. It was quite heavy, and the bike is now covered in a sort of concretey dust, which is actually causing the gears to stick a little bit as well. So there's some serious cleaning to do, just as well that this is the last day of my trip, for this bit of the trip. Behind me, Ben Nevis, still covered in cloud. Well, not covered, but there's still cloud just dusting the top, and I think it's got its own little microclimate that its days of clear views of the Ben are pretty limited. I hope you've stayed with me this far. If you have stuck it out to the end, congratulations as always, and thanks for riding with me. Keep riding with me again, Lost in Livy.
You know, I'm sure that on my way back to the van, the cloud on Ben Nevis cleared just enough for an elusive glimpse of the top. Well, it might have been wishful thinking. Maybe I was just dreaming. Or maybe I should have bought that lottery ticket. Thanks for riding with me. Lost in Livy.